cinematics.com, and in this tutorial series I will be teaching you how to import your footage correctly in Premiere Pro. In the previous tutorial I've explained the interface of Premiere Pro, and I would recommend watching this tutorial and the other tutorial first and then watch this tutorial so you can follow along with the interface of Premiere Pro, because it's kind of important that you understand it. Then once you open up Premiere Pro, you will see a window pop up with whether you want a new project, open a project, or open a recent project. You want to click a new project as you have never made a project before if you're watching this tutorial. Well, I hope so. Then we have over here some settings, and you don't actually have to change anything about these settings. I just keep them standard what they are. But if you want to work with frames instead of timecode, you can go to frames. Frames are the amount of pictures shown in each second of film. So for film that's 24 frames, by the way. But I won't go too deep into that because it's a completely different tutorial, and we're just making a tutorial on how to start editing in Premiere Pro. So over here we have the location of our folder of our project. So go to browse and I will save it to the desktop, but I would definitely recommend not doing that because that's a complete mess, and as you can see I have nothing on my desktop. It's just for the sake of this tutorial that I'm doing this, but I would recommend making a separate folder somewhere safe called Premiere Projects or something like that, and then you have all your Premiere Pro projects over there. And I would even recommend in that Premiere Pro project folder to create a new project folder for that exact project that you're making. So I also always rename my projects to PR_, which means Premiere. The PR stands for Premiere, and it's just easier if I have lost a project on my computer. I can go to the search function over here, and then I will just enter PR_, and then I will get all the projects made in Premiere Pro. So for example, for Photoshop I use PS, for After Effects I use AE, and that's just an easier way to work with. So that's what I do. I will rename it to PR_tutorial, and then I will click OK, and you will see that it will create a folder and a project file for this exact project. So if you double click on it, it will open up Premiere if it hasn't already been opened, and you will see the project. So next you will get a window with new sequence, and over here we have these sequence presets, all standard in Premiere Pro. You have all these folders and a custom folder, and I like to make my own custom settings. But if you over here you can see if you have a DVNTC and you want to use a standard, you can go over there and just use that standard function, and you don't have to create your own settings. So that's also a way to go. If you have filmed with your camera, the most important thing is to know which dimensions you have used. And if I go to my footage over here that I have filmed, I can see that it's 1920 by 1080p, which is full HD in other words. So I will go for that. And I know that I have 23.976 frames. So I will also change these in my settings, and you have to know that, but I will explain later if you don't know the frames on how to see that in your project. So I'll click over here, create a new setting, and if you click on anything, so you should start with something basic, whatever you want, and I would recommend going to HDV 1080 24 frames. Okay, go to settings. And over here the time base is 23.9676, and that's the exact amount of frames that I'm using in my videos over here. So that's great, and all the rest is good for me to go. 48 Hertz, and I don't use 1440, I use 9020, so I will change that as well. And then if you think your settings are correct, you can just save this preset, rename it to something logical, and then you have your sequence name to take care of. But if you're not making a full-length film, I would just recommend using this, and it doesn't really matter what it's named, or I always call it main_main, so it always gets on top on my project. Click OK, and there we go, have our project. So this is the interface, and again, if you haven't seen the previous tutorial, go to the previous tutorial so you can understand the interface from Premiere Pro. So now what we want to do is import our footage, and you can do that on many different ways. You can go to File and Import, or you can go to right click on here in the Projects panel, Import, or you can go to your Finder or your folders and just drag in your footage. I always use Import, or I just drag in my footage. And that's the easiest way for me to work. Now, what you can see over here is the frame rate again, and if you make it a little bit larger, you can see the video information. And I can see over here that I have wrong settings. So I have done this on purpose. Just if I click on my original footage that I've imported from my Canon, and you see that you have wrong settings, you can just drag and drop it into the timeline, and then it will ask to change the sequence settings to the settings of your footage that you have imported. And I'll always click on change sequence settings, and then it's automatically updated over here in the video info to change your information. So you can now delete that, because I never or ever once if I make a montage, I never import it right immediately in my timeline, because it's a mess to work with. The easiest way, what I do is double click on the thumbnail of my video, because if you double click on the text, you'll be able to rename it. I double click on the thumbnail, and then I will get a preview of what I've been filming. And over here you can see what you have been doing to film it. And I see over here, I get to see my drone. So I will pick this piece of video footage and I will import it in my timeline. Over here I lost it. So I will go at the start where it enters the frame. Then I will press the E on the keyboard, or press this key over here to mark in, and that will make a marquee for the endpoint of this video. Then I will go to the end where I want to stop this video. Over there, I want to stop it right over here. Press the O for out point, or you click on this mark out key. And now what you want to do is, or if you want to add the audio with your video, you can drag and drop by just clicking on your video, dragging it into your timeline, and putting it in the video layer over here. And then you will see it automatically adds the audio with it. If you move around your video, your audio just follows along. So we can delete it again. If you only want the video from that specific time over here, you just want to click over here, drag video only. And if you drag it over here, you will see no audio has been added. And the exact same thing for the audio. You can just import your audio only without any video. So depending on what you want, you can do it like that. But in this case, I want the video and the audio, so I will import it that way. Okay, so now what was I going to say? Oh yeah. If you move around, you can see your audio is moving with it, and if you don't want that, you can right click on your video footage and just click on link, and now you can move them separately. So if you click on the left, it will deselect. If you click somewhere else in your timeline but your footage, you will deselect your footage, and now you can click on the footage and move it around, and the audio will stay in the exact same spot. So now you can select them both again and relink them if you want to. If you have made a mistake and you want to relink them again, you can do it that way. So now you can also import a folder, of course, because now I have only imported one video and I don't want that. I want to import my complete Canon footage, so I'll import it this way. And automatically Premiere Pro remembers the folder, and now you have a folder with your audio. So we can delete this actually, but I won't. Well, I will delete it. And deleting footage is by clicking on the thumbnail and then clicking here clear or delete, or the delete key on your keyboard. You can also create your own folder if you have different kind of footage from all those things that you have imported. You can create new folders and rename this to Canon footage 2, for example. And then you can just drag and drop everything in there. You can also create a new folder with sequences. And you can just drag and drop your sequence in there, but you won't need that really now, so I'll delete those two things. If you want to create a new sequence, you can just click over here, can create a new sequence, or you can create anything else, but those are for other videos and not for this video. So now you know how to import your video and how to add it to the timeline. And now you can just start messing around with your timeline a bit. In the next few tutorials, I will be going over the editing functions in Premiere Pro, the effects, and so on. So thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.